years. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now.
Tuesday, August 27th. I'm going to start the show with a little pat on my back, a little kind of self-promotion here. If you're not part of my Twitter, you may not know this. I got a listener signed up via listennotes.com. This is a aggregator of RSS feeds of podcasting. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I have no freaking clue what I'm talking about. I just know they sent me a score yesterday that says I'm in the top 5% globally for podcasts. So thank you for listening. My listener score is 32. Let's pump that shit up. Let's pump that up. You know, let's get Arnold going in here. I want to bump you up. Yeah, 32. Not great. I didn't think it was great, but in the top 5% of podcasts, I think that's really good. Now, second thing I want to do is you guys, if you're new here, this is Trendspider. Okay, this is my main charting program. What do I do in Trendspider? There are five main things that I do. The first is look at the charts. I got my moving averages on here. I got my MACD on here. I got the RSI on here. I got Bollinger Bands on here. I got volume profiles on here. I got these lines that I can draw as support and resistance for myself so that I know where we're at. I can easily look at this. I've got my watch list, custom watch list up here in the upper right. You can't really see it. It's a little cut off. I've got my custom scanners, which I do every morning, and I put in the newsletter. The newsletter's free. And at the end of every newsletter, I put these scans. What are these scans? Well, it's my 4-hour algorithm that's in Trendspider. And so, you know, the other thing that I have in Trendspider are these strategies. I've got a 4-hour strategy, a 65-minute strategy. You can see the entries here on QQQ. Well, if you have a strategy that you're using for technical trading, you want to backtest it. And thankfully, Trendspider allows you to backtest it. So this one backtested 2.6 months. So it's about 2 years, 54% versus 45% if you bought and held. Now, past performance doesn't guarantee future, but it does guide you so you can take emotion out of the trade. And one of the things I want to point out is Trendspider is having a crazy Labor Day sale. There's an early bird, and this is important. For 2 days, today and tomorrow, you can get the early bird special. Now, there's a countdown. If you miss this countdown, there's nothing I can do, so take advantage of this. This is the best offer they will have, okay? We'll go over the yearly plans first because there's discounts on the monthly. For the first time, discounts on the monthly. So you got your standard tier. They're not really doing anything on the standard tier because at $53 a month, that's crazy cheap for the amount of value that they give you. The enhanced platform is now cheaper. It's now cheaper than the standard, $52 a month, okay? That is crazy, saving of 47%. You get essentially more than 6 months for free. I mean, that's crazy price. But what I want to point out is if you're new to trading, okay, this price on the advanced at $78 per month, it comes with unlimited one-on-one training. I talked to Dan from Trendspider. They are more than happy to train you. They want you to know how to use this platform. My 4-hour algorithm, the 65-minute algorithm, the 5-minute that I put together and I email you when you sign up through my link, those are all starting tools. They're great. But when you get one-on-one Zoom training with an expert on the platform who can help you set up your screen, help guide you with what you want to look at, and tell you, yeah, you want a MACD, and here's why you want a MACD. Yeah, you want an RSI. Here's why you want an RSI. They will not give you investment advice. They are very careful about that. But they will guide you through setting. I use probably about 25% of what Trendspider has available. You want to know where Nancy Pelosi trades? It's in there. You want to know where insiders buy? It's in there. You want to know about fundamentals like PE, price to sales, all of that? It's in there. It's all in there. So get it, take what you're going to do is you're going to go to Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. Okay, the link's down below. You can see it right on the screen. and you're going to go to this Trendspider link right here up top. It's going to lead you there. You sign up. What do you do after you sign up? Well, you go back to Linktree and you email me right there. Email in the upper right-hand corner. You email me a screenshot of your sign up. And then I'll send you everything. It's point and click. It can't be easier. It is amazing, the sale that's going on right now. And here's the killer. When you go to monthly, say you don't want to commit for a year, okay? You want something monthly. They give you 15% off the enhanced, 34% off. Say you want to take a break from work and trade for a month. You're sick of this 9-to-5 work. I don't work. January 2020, I quit my job. I managed to, lose 40% of my net worth over COVID. The month after I quit my job, and I'm still going. Now, I knew exactly what I was doing. I don't want to, make it sound like, oh my God, I was poor. I wasn't, but I quit my job, and this is what I do now. I live off of my savings. So they give you this one, $295 a month, 34% off, okay? You can get, for $295, unlimited one-on-one training for 1 month. That is unbelievable. Take them up on this offer. Again, Dan wants you to use this platform. He wants to make it easy for you to use. I can't live without it. So, I will say, the Dow hit all-time highs. It closed at all-time highs yesterday. NVIDIA, we can look at the Qs, but I want to point out NVIDIA. Yesterday, it was down 3%, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't know exactly. It's not one of my big losers. If you want to bet on NVIDIA today, because any reaction in the market is an overreaction, and if you want to bet on earnings, use some of these ETFs that are double levered, NVDL. Now, if you got in here at 47 on August 8th, that's a fantastic gain. You know what? Over the last 20.7 months, because it hasn't even been around for 2 years, 20 months, you make 20.7%. You can see it in the bottom here, right here. It says performance chart, right next to my big old head right there. It says performance, 1,020%. If you bought and held this one, you made 1,410%. So you're doing really well. If you want to play this one, you can. Now, I see the MACD's crossing over. I don't like that. I see the RSI is high. I don't like that. If we go and we look at NVIDIA and we look at this, I see the MACD super high. I see the RSI, no man's land at 58. Earnings are coming up. I don't know that I do it, but I will. I put this in my notes. If you want to gamble today and on tomorrow's earnings, buy NVDL. Just do it. I mean, that's the same thing as gambling. Same thing as gambling. So let's see where we are on the Qs, because I said yesterday that we opened up August. Let's see, August 1st, we opened up at 471. We're at 473. You're still positive. Even after yesterday's decline, it wasn't that big. I mean, we had a big midday move and stuff, but even after yesterday, we're still positive for August. So we have just a few more days left in August. Not much, but again, you're positive in August. So where are we on the Dow? I like to follow, I think it's DIA is the one, it's the Spider Trust of the Dow Industrials. Again, we're still high. You had confirmation. Your MACD isn't crossing over on this one. The RSI is at 69, so it's a little bit stressed. Remember, the Dow is only 30 stocks. It's 30 stocks. I don't like tracking it. If you want to trade it in my algorithm, the algorithm makes you 34% versus 22% in the asset performance on DIA. Okay, got you in here August 12th at 393. You're at 412. In an index, that's amazing. Amazing. You only win 40% of the time. Your average win is 4.79. Let's see what this win so far is. If you bought in here at 393 and today you're at 5%, you're above that average win, I'd be a little bit nervous. That's where I'd be taking some stuff off. So, again, the Dow closed at all-time highs. The market's whipsawing every day. It's just, it's going up, it's going down. Again, I would say it's a boring week other than the earnings. So, yeah, I got an email. I'll post it in the newsletter from Trendspider this morning. There are a few ratings upgrades. Okay, XLY goes from sell to hold. Oxy in the quant goes from hold to buy. Cleveland Cliffs goes from sell to hold. Okay, if you want your portfolio rated on this, then what you do is you go over here and you click on at Linktree, and you click on this second link, Alpha Premium. Okay, Seeking Alpha Premium. Get $25 off in 7 free days. The upgrade is Dell. Dell got an upgrade, or I'm sorry, a downgrade from strong buy to buy. They have earnings coming up on Thursday. Okay, we talked about SMCI, how their problem is the margins. Dell's got the same problems. Last time they reported earnings, you can see that gap down. Are we going to fill this gap? I don't know. I'd like us to. I'm in at 113. I'm in at 113. So we talk about the Mag 7 a lot. This chart is interesting. Dead heat, the nearly dead heat returns for Mag 7 stocks and the rest of the S&P. This is even weight. Over the past month, almost neck and neck returns for cap-weighted S&P, Magnificent 7, and equal-weighted S&P. So the Mag 7 stocks represent roughly a third of the market cap of the S&P 500. This kind of shows you that the breadth is broadening out. So I know yesterday I sounded super bearish. This is bullish. Again, I just don't know where we have huge earnings from a major player in the market, NVIDIA. We're in an AI and a GLP-1 market. We'll talk about both because I've got, AI stuff and I've got GLP-1 stuff with Eli Lilly. But this chart simply shows that we're broadening out. That's bullish. Again, it would be a boring market if not for the earnings this week. News yesterday, Apple plans to hold Glow Time product event on September 9th. I think this could be a buy the news, sell the event kind of thing. We saw how WWDC in June ran this one up all the way up there to July 15th. We ran up into that June event right here in June 14th. What did it do? It pulled back. Now you got recovery. So I don't want to say it was a sell the news kind of event because we didn't crash. We ran all the way up. Now we've pulled back. If you didn't get Apple under $200 here, okay? It was at $196 on August 5th during that Japan day. That was a crazy good price. Now right now, Apple's expensive. It's expensive. And I don't think that they're necessarily throwing something out there that's going to be mind-blowingly great. Yes, I will upgrade. I've got an iPhone 13 Pro. Yes, I'm going to get the 16 Pro. If you are going to upgrade your iPhone and you plan on upgrading any of your devices for Apple Intelligence, buy the stock. It's the one thing I learned with buying a Tesla out in 2018. I should have bought the same amount of stock as I put into the car. You know, that $60,000 that I spent on my Model 3 in 2018, at its height, that $60,000 car, if I had just put $60,000 into Tesla, it would have been worth $1.2 million. It's the one thing I learned from that. So if you're planning on upgrading, I would urge you, buy Apple stock as well. That's one of the plays that I learned. It's just one of the things. Now, Meta. Meta's interesting because we had this buy in the 4-hour right here. And now the algorithm makes you 142%. I've said this before. Meta, just buy it under $500. It's on its way back down. I thought Zuckerberg sending that letter to the House committee that he regrets being pressured by the government to take down COVID information and what everyone thought was Russian disinformation about Biden. I thought that showed some humility. I give him credit. I mean, we know from Elon Musk that there was government pressure. We know all that from the Twitter stuff. I thought it was interesting. I think it opens Meta to regulation. And again, Zuckerberg plays chess with most of these politicians. He's so far in front of them. Most of the politicians can't program a freaking Roku device. Let's be honest. Jim Jordan, you put a Roku in front of him, I guarantee you, the guy's going, what do I do with this? He probably doesn't even know what a QR code is. These guys aren't geniuses. And I don't mean to pick on Jim Jordan. I think everybody in Congress is kind of stuck in that government way. But I think Zuckerberg, who's a coder, who has built a billion-dollar company, I mean, multi-billion, close to trillion, I think. I don't know what's the market cap of. Let's see what the market cap of Meta is. I think it's close to trillion. Market cap is, 1 trillion, 1.3 trillion. So, again, I think he's got the upper hand in this one. Meta, Zuckerberg's regrets bowing to White House pressure and censor COVID. I thought that letter, if you haven't gotten a chance to read that letter, read it. I thought it was good. I thought he outlined it perfectly. He said, hey, we regret doing this and we won't do it again. And I agree with him. They shouldn't do it again. I think they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. I would not want to be in Zuckerberg's position or Meta's position in controlling that. I want to be in Elon Musk's position controlling Twitter. I wouldn't want to be in either one of them. I don't know why Musk got into that. If you want, Gene on Twitter, I reposted this. Gene Musberg, he put out there that Tesla's in a difficult position because of Elon's kind of tweets. And if you didn't read the Wall Street Journal article about how his political tweets, it's like 80% political, 20% about product. The guy's a genius product and he's putting out political stuff. Again, Zuckerberg, I think, is smarter than that. He just doesn't want to be involved in the politics of it all. So he's kind of taking a neutral approach, even though he bowed to the pressure and he said he regrets it. And I agree. He shouldn't have bowed to the pressure, but he did. It happened. I think this invites regulation. As far as the stock goes, buy Meta under $500. It's a money printing machine. It's just a money printing machine. Do you want to buy it now? I don't think so. Wall Street has a buy on it with a $568 price target. It's 9% up. They've chased it. I think it's showing some weakness. I think you might see a couple of days of weakness. If you want to buy at 517, you're more than welcome to. We'll go over in the in part of the education section about somebody who texted me and said, hey, I can't, does Trendspider give me alerts because I don't have time during the day, but I want an alert on a 5-minute chart. We'll go over that. If you want to buy Meta, okay, and you want a decent play on it, the 4-hour algorithm makes you 142%. Yes, you make 205% over 2 years if you bought and held, but you win 52% of the time. So it finds you good entries, and you could just dollar cost average your way in here. And that would be my kind of guidance for you on that one. Now, Google. Google has come down quite a bit. We've seen this. We talked about how Google, August 5th was the Japan trade. Google got all the way down to 156. You're at 167, okay? Algorithm got you in at 161. Algorithm makes you 51% versus 40% buy and hold. This is not one of those that is, oh my God, we're going to make 50% on it. It's got a lot of issues with it because ChatGPT's coming for their search, which is their bread and butter. They've got some regulation issues, just like Meta, just like Apple, just like everybody else in the big tech sector. I think you just buy it. Again, I think as it comes down towards that 160, I think you buy it. You had this death cross here, but if we look at the weekly on this one, as you get down towards that 50-day, okay, this has always been a good buy when you get down towards that 50-day. The 50 days at 151. If you think, again, go back to yesterday's podcast. If you think we're going into some type of drawdown because the job market is going to get weak, wait until 151. I'd say if you're buying 10 shares of this and it's $100 freaking dollars, just go buy it at 160. I mean, figure out the difference between 167 and 151 when you're buying it. If you can live with that, if it's the price of an Xbox, just go and buy it. Again, 5 years from now, I don't think you'll regret that buy. Now, another one, AVGO. This tweet right here, the world of semiconductors. That's Broadcom right here. Broadcom's a little bit stretched I own this, I think, at 130. We talked about Broadcom. They just had a 10-for-1 split. I bought before that split. That was back in July. I think I bought back here at about 130. Now, it's at 159. This one's getting a button hook. It's starting to turn over a little bit. The MACD is up a little bit on it. The RSI is in no man's land at 49. I wouldn't buy right now, but based on them being pretty high, NVIDIA is the biggest one in this chart. Taiwan Semi's the second. Broadcom's the third. I would say Broadcom is a buy. The two that are in the core portfolio, well, three: NVIDIA, Taiwan Semi, and Qualcomm. Those are the three of these semiconductor companies that are in the core portfolio. There are separate reasons. Qualcomm, because they are the king of cell phone chips. And even, Apple couldn't undo their tie with Qualcomm. I think that's great. I like that one. Broadcom, I have it. I like that one. Taiwan Semi is in the core portfolio. I own it through ETFs. I've been scared of the political issues with Taiwan Semi. NVIDIA, we went over it yesterday. I own more than I even thought that I owned. So that's one. Now, we talked about this being an AI market with the semis and everything of that sort, Google and Apple. Eli Lilly is also in not in AI, but they're GLP-1. And we're in a GLP-1 market. Now, they're slashing the prices by 50% for the lowest doses. Lowest doses. Douches. I almost said douches. Now, the valuation on Lilly is extremely stretched. When you go and you look at it, the PEG ratio, okay, the forward is 1.4. It's a little bit high. It's below its sector, but it's still a little bit high. The valuation is the only thing that's wrong with this, okay? The average the Wall Street analyst, there's 28 of them that cover this, $989, okay? It has chased this all the way up. Understand that GLP-1 is going to be, you stub your toe, GLP-1. You get a paper cut, GLP-1. You have pain on the side of your left side of your head, GLP-1. You have an itch on the bottom of your foot, GLP-1. That drug is going to be the main drug that's out there. And so Eli Lilly is on the forefront of that. Now, what are you seeing in this stock? Okay, what I see is a top right here at 966. Okay, we're going to put that at 966. What do I see right here? I see the price going to 967. What do I see here? I see the price going to 972. Now I see it pulling back. And in pre-market, you're down 0.66. Would I buy this today? I wouldn't. Would I buy this anywhere near $900? Absolutely. Do the math. If you're buying one share of this at $944, just buy $944. The valuation, it's going to grow into that valuation. So I like that one. I like it a lot. Let's talk about Microsoft. Because as Microsoft comes down, we have an exit here on the 4-hour algorithm, okay? The 4-hour algorithm beats buy and hold. Am I using the 4-hour algorithm to trade Microsoft? Absolutely not. Over 2 years in Microsoft, in the algorithm, you have, 24 positions. Once a month, you trade this one. Once a freaking month. And you make 50%. 43% if you buy and hold. Okay? That's the difference in the 4-hour algorithm. Now, as this comes down here towards 400, you buy. If we get a buy in the algorithm after it kind of comes up and say it's at 416, dollar cost average your way in. Buy it at 416. I would argue that this one's still a good buy. Still a good buy. Now, one that I got a buy on yesterday, Costco. I have an alert. My dad called me. He said, hey, Costco's expanding. I really like it. I went in there yesterday. It was packed. It was packed. And he even sent me a TV. He goes, look at this TV. It's for only like $400. It's an LG. It was a great TV. It was one of the ones I was looking to buy it. Now, buy it at $892. You're at $892 right now. Do you want to buy it? I would say the valuation pulls you down. But Costco's expanding internationally. Opens its first store in Okinawa. 5-hour freaking wait. Are you waiting 5 hours to get into a Costco store? Because people in Japan are. That's what's crazy. 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 Nuts. Nuts. Now, I did get an alert yesterday. Alpha Picks. So if you want Alpha Picks, what is Alpha Picks? It's the third link on Linktree right here. And when you click that, you go to this. Now, Alpha Picks is a curated portfolio, 2 data-driven stocks picked each month, one on the 1st, one on the 15th. They tell you when to sell. They had a sell yesterday, okay? It was Arch Resources. Why? Because Arch Resources merges with Consol Energy in a $5.2 billion deal. The rules on Alpha Picks is when a company merges, they get rid of it. They're selling it. Now, they bought in June of 2022, somewhere around there, they bought at 143. They sold at 127. So it's not, this was one of their losers. They have winners and losers. But the key point that they always make is that, hey, the winners far outperform the losers. Some of their winners, most recently, both in the month of June, I think it was June or July that they bought these, Berkshire Hathaway. Right now, they're up 11% on that, 11.8%. Sprouts Farmers Market, up 28%. You can see the performance of this portfolio up 114% versus 38%. I get messages from people all the time who signed up for this, and they're like, God, I never knew this stock existed. Now I'm making a ton of money on this. Powell, we went over Powell yesterday. Powell was one. I will put in the newsletter about the sell, and I will put the winners in there too. So if you want, sign up for the newsletter for free. It'll be in there. Super Micro slides 8% as the stock nears its split. Remember, they announced a split. Everybody thinks splits are going to, go crazy and it's going to drive this up. This one's down 8.8%. Again, the algorithm got you out today with a loss. Got you out at 560, got you in at 563, got you out yesterday afternoon. Okay, yesterday afternoon, the closing price was 562. If you had Trendspider, you got that alert. Do you want to trade on the algorithm? The algorithm makes you 380%. If you bought and held, you made 693%. But I would argue the algorithm over 2 years. You go back 2 years, okay? We're back to August 2022. You're down here. So these are great buys. Look at that. That's 600%. You've made that 600%. What you're doing now, you're sliding. Look at the recent. We have no confirmation. Do you want to buy into this one? I would say no. Am I getting out of this one? I'm also saying no. I did buy back down here at 300. I'm still holding at 300. I'm also holding at 800. I think I bought some at 1,000. Not too much. It's not ruling my portfolio, but there are losses, okay? I do have losses. Doesn't feel comfortable. I didn't see this coming. I saw this sideways trade, and I thought this was exactly like this, where we would get the move higher. And the reason I thought we would move higher is because the valuation's not nuts. Now, the valuation is crazy if you look at the PE. It's 25. Sector median is 23. But the PEG ratio with their growth is good. Now, the issue is the profitability. It's the gross profit margin. At 14%, they are 71% below. Now, the management team has said this will pick up. It was one time we had to spend money in order to make money. This will pick up. It's going to take a couple of quarters. What do you think Wall Street's pricing this one at? 884. 884. It has come down. Remember, this was a $1,000 price target. It has come down 884. That's still a 57% upside. We're seeing some selling right now in the market, pre-market. It's quickening up. So again, patience is what you want. And this upcoming split, let's see, where's the upcoming split? Their upcoming split, they're splitting on October 1st. October 1st, they're splitting 10 for 1. So this will be a $50 stock. If you don't think $50 is going to run up to 60, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. One that is interesting is ELF. ELF has slowly become one of the most shorted stocks on Wall Street. And part of the issue is because of the valuation. And the valuation, when we look at ELF and we look at this article, by the way, points out analysts have found F beauty among volatile trading session. It is crazy the amount. ELF raised full year sales guidance to a range of approximately 25 to 27%, up from 20 to 22. They adjusted EBITDA and anticipated to land in the range of 297 to 301, up from 285 to 289. So they beat and raised. Shares of ELF were down 8.4% at 1140 yesterday. Okay, it's down another point. And when we look at ELF, we can look at the valuation. The valuation's the F. Okay, when you look at the PEG, it's still a bit expensive. I don't think that you want to buy it here, but I do think that there's an opportunity to buy ELF. And you wait for it to come back down. You wait for it. Because right now, the algorithm got you in at 162. Is that a bad buy? Didn't look like it. You just had a death cross. I'd have said, hey, at 162, that looks good. All of a sudden, you're at 172. And then yesterday, you just get that big, huge thing. What this article points out is that they defend it, that it's still a good buy. It's still a good buy. Let's see my note. I think the dip is, once the dip is gone, I think you can buy this one. I don't see the price target in here from these analysts, but they do defend it. I think it's interesting. Now, let's see. I have, don't sleep on IBIT or MicroStrategy. Oh, we're going to go this one first because SoFi's, yeah, I'm going to do SoFi after this. Well, let's do SoFi now. Let's do SoFi. Insiders of SoFi have been gobbling up shares sub $8 for quite some time. So this is what I talk about with Trendspider, where you can get insider buys on your charts. This is a chart that they put together. And all those buy signals, those are insider buys. You can find out about them on Trendspider. Now, if we look at SoFi in the 4-hour algorithm, I have argued that this is a $10 stock. They've been buying sub $8. Right now, the stock is trading at $7.55. It's down 1.56%. I would say that $7 is absolutely the support level that you want to buy under it and you want to sell over it. Are you selling into this? Well, you had an inside candle in the afternoon. Afternoons are always light on volume in almost every stock. The RSI is at 66. Am I buying here? Probably not. I'm probably waiting to see if we continue to go. Because if I look at SoFi and I see this gap up here at 855, but I see a couple of times we've gone up to that $8 and we've been rejected off that $8. So if you're buying at 767 or 750, just understand that that $8 is probably your resistance. So anywhere between 7 and 8, I think is a good buy. But if you're going to get over that hump, it's going to need some type of catalyst. And I don't know what that catalyst is because they've already had their earnings. Their earnings are done. So the catalyst is going to have to be some type of announcement. But the RSI is a little high. So do you want to buy it? It looks interesting. I just don't think so. Again, patience. Patience. Could be a $10 stock. And don't sleep on IBIT and MicroStrategy. I think Bitcoin is going to do really well. I bought IBIT at, I think, about 34, 35, somewhere in that neighborhood. I own some at 37, I think, as well. I've been buying this one for a while. And I just like adding to it because it's going to be long-term. This is my exposure to Bitcoin. I'm not smart enough to have a Coinbase account. I'm just not. And so I'll just buy this one. Now, it tracks okay. Doesn't track perfectly. But between this and MicroStrategy, I think I've gotten enough exposure to Bitcoin that I'm okay. MicroStrategy is like buying a triple levered ETF on Bitcoin. Now, understand, it is overvalued compared to its Bitcoin value. You can Google that, but I'm trading this based on the 4-hour algorithm. And why? The 4-hour algorithm over 24 months makes you 715%. Buying and holding on MicroStrategy makes you 405%. You see this nice 7% sale right there? Did I sell it? No. I didn't. I'm seeing right around here, on MicroStrategy, I'm seeing a nice support level right at the bottom value area right there, right at about 119. I'm sorry, we're going to move that up. We're going to move that up to about 130. I'm seeing a value area there, right there, 130. It's bouncing off there. If we look at that 130 price, it's not, you're just setting up there. It's setting up. I like when it sets up. Now, back here in 2021, when it set up, it pulled back. But I like that Bollinger Band cinch up right there on the weekly with the down MACD and the RSI of 53. I like it because I do think that Bitcoin's going to go up. So Gene Munster, we're going to talk about NVIDIA earnings. Let's talk about Sentinel first, because Sentinel is after the bell today. And we're going to go over here to Earnings Hub, and we can pull up Sentinel, okay? This is one that is interesting. They lost 5 cents per share. They didn't put an estimate out. They're expected $1.97 billion in revenue. This is going to set up CrowdStrike. That is tomorrow afternoon, okay? If Sentinel-1 continues their downslide and they continue reporting that they're not getting huge customers, CrowdStrike getting the customers. And so you can see Sentinel-1 right here. The algorithm loses you 46%. You lose 10% by buying and holding. This has been in an upward trend. That $21 buy is great. You're at 24. But your MACD's high at 62. Your RSI is at 62. Your MACD's high and it's crossing down. Do I trust it? No. If you want to buy it and you want to see if it fills this gap at 27, go ahead and buy it. I think, their CEO came out when CrowdStrike crashed and kind of mocked CrowdStrike. I think it's interesting. I don't own Sentinel. I do own Crowd. And when we go to CrowdStrike, we can go over here to CrowdStrike to see what they're anticipating. They're reported 93 cents. They're expected 97 cents. Okay. Nobody will care about the earnings. Everybody will care about new contracts. Everybody will care. Did you continue to sign customers after that breach? After that, update, I should say. After that bad update. Do you want to buy CrowdStrike? I bought down here at about 210, 229, somewhere in that neighborhood. 226, maybe it was, 226. I bought here. I also bought here at 285. So it might have been 300. Might have been 300. It's closer to 300. So I also bought way back here. So I bought 3, 4, 5 lots. I feel like I have enough. MACD's, crossing over right at the oscillator. RSI's coming down at 50. I think Thursday's the tell. And I think if they actually report good earnings, I think you just buy it right there. I think, you don't wait for the phone call. You just buy it. Because I do think that this one in particular is a good stock. We can go to CrowdStrike right now. And we can go to the Wall Street ratings. Let's see. It's a hold in the quant. Wall Street says it's a $334 price target. 50 analysts cover it. Okay. Most people have said that pullback was crazy. The valuation, enormous. Even the PEG is enormous. Profitability, they make 75% gross profit margin. Growth, they're growing at 34% revenue year over year. Operating free cash flow, 21%. It's crazy, the growth in this stock. I own this one and I own PanW. Those are the two cybersecurity names that I own. Those are the ones that I like. Now, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the big one tomorrow, okay? NVIDIA earnings Wednesday after the close, July quarter and October guidance are less important. Most important will come on the call when Jensen talks about long demand may exceed supply. Okay, last quarter he said that will happen well into next year. If Blackwell gets delayed, I believe his comments suggest we reach demand-supply equilibrium mid-calendar year 2025. Big picture, I expect NVIDIA to grow faster for longer than most investors believe. For CY25, the current year 25, the Street is looking for 39% growth. I believe it will be closer to 50. For current year 26, they're expecting 17%, and I expect it to be closer to 30. If current year 24, they'll grow around 100%. Okay? NVIDIA, I think, is still a sleeper. It's down 1% today at 125. Are you buying it at 125? I added to this one at 108. I added to this one as it was closer to 100. I added to this one at 126. I added to this one at 130. I've added to this one constantly. I just think that this one is cheap. When you go over here to Seeking Alpha, and again, this is how you use your tools. The valuation's an F, but their PEG ratio is crazy low. For a company growing like this, it's crazy low. Wall Street has a $143 price target on it. That's a 14% upside right now. Gene Munster, watch this interview. It is a great, great interview. And Trendspider, can Jensen deliver another blowout quarter? Again, when you look at this and you look at the fundamentals, the revenue, look at the revenue from the data centers, and that's AI. Every time they reported, it went to this top channel Okay, that top channel is about 160. If we get a blowout quarter and they say something about Blackwell, I think you got 140 in the stock. I don't think you have 150 or 160. But could we get there? Maybe. That's what the trend line kind of insinuates. Now, NVIDIA's results may disappoint, and here's how to hedge against it. What they're suggesting is to go against the S&P. Because they said NVIDIA is just too expensive, but if you want to hedge against this, go against the S&P. They talk about options play. So if you're interested in an options play, this is from Bank of America, and this is how to do it. Now, the options market is implying that it will be up 10%. Could see more than 10% upside on this one. Okay, NVIDIA guidance likely to be driven by H200. H200, Morgan Stanley says the H200 chips, even in light of a slight delay in its upcoming Blackwell GPUs. Everybody's saying they think it's going to blow it out. It's just by how much? Just by how much? Steve Burns had a quote, and I'll include it in the newsletter. But his quote is, first trading skill you must develop. Trade the time frame that correlates with your screen availability. Develop a system with a statistical edge. Focus, that means backtesting. Focus on creating good risk-reward ratios with your trade management. Position size a level that allows you to manage your emotions and ego. This is so true. So why do I trade the 4-hour algorithm? It's because I don't want to stare at charts all day. I want to be able, the 4-hour, it allows me to get in at lunchtime. It allows me to trade in the morning if I want to, see how it's doing at lunchtime. You get 2 candles a day. Daily wasn't good enough for me. So I wanted a little bit more. 5-minute was crazy. 65 minutes, 7 candles a day. I got a message from a listener who wanted to know about alerts in Trendspider or a bot because they were busy at work and they couldn't use a computer. They had to use their phone. If that's the case, do not trade a 5-minute chart. Go with a 4-hour so when you take a lunch break, you can take a look at the 4-hour chart. Trading a 5-minute chart where you can't look at the chart, or trading a 15-minute or a triple levered ETF that you want to trade for the day, when you get pulled into a Zoom meeting, that's just asking to lose money. Yes, you may win some of the time, but you're asking to lose money in that way. So Steve's guidance here, trade the skills trade the time frame that correlates with your screen availability. Yes, I am retired. I do this show. I can't trade in the mornings. Do I do it? No, I do the show. So let's talk about social requests. Charlie, PDD missed revenue but beat earnings. It's tanked 30%. Should I buy more? I told Charlie I would comment on this one. So here's my thoughts. First off, I would say it's a China stock. And I think China stocks are, understand, Caribbean Queen. I always think of that Billy Ocean song when I think of China stocks. So the way China stocks work, PDD, BABA, all of them, it is illegal for a non-Chinese citizen to own stock in a Chinese company. I will reiterate that. It is illegal for a non-Chinese citizen to own stock in a Chinese company. So you can either buy it on the Hong Kong exchange, you can buy it somewhere else. That's what typically larger hedge funds do. When you want to buy PDD and you're buying it, what you're buying is a Caribbean piece of paper. Okay, we have some political issues with China. One of the political issues has to do around trade. We've seen when we go after them, they go after us. What did they do? They didn't allow iPhones in government buildings. You saw Apple stock drop. The biggest thing that the Chinese government has floated that they could do is make these Caribbean holding companies illegal. Okay? Wiping out your investment to zero. Because if they say those Caribbean holding companies are not allowed and they don't represent ownership in the Chinese company, your investment is now at zero. Now, that's the big picture as to why I don't want to hold these for very long. Because the political, kind of soccer ball that's up in the air, I just don't want to hold it. Now, with that, some of these companies come interesting. Now, I will tell you, I wrote down some notes. I don't see them on here for some reason. Maybe I wiped it out. I don't know. But I did write down some notes. I heard management say, and the quote I don't have, but essentially they said, we are okay losing money in order to gain market share. So understand, that's why it went down. They also said, we're spending $20 billion per quarter on, or per year, I forget which, on advertising. Where's that going? Okay, $20 billion. If you have scrolled through Facebook or Instagram, you see Temu advertising. That is PDD. It's going to Meta. So what happened yesterday with Meta when they said we're going to pull back on advertising? And I don't know how much, but it went down. So PDD, with just saying, hey, we're going to pull back on advertising, they pulled down. You know, that's how you trade this. Again, the algorithm, it doesn't do well with this. It doesn't do well at all. This was a 21% loss that it got you out yesterday. So Charlie, I don't want you to add to this one and then see it continue to go down. I have this 3-day rule, and I have the 3-day rule for a reason, is because the market needs to digest these earnings. That 21% move down yesterday, or whatever it was, down it's a 10% candle. I mean, that's a 10% 4-hour candle in the morning yesterday. That's huge. You opened up at 110. Your low was 95. Your high was 111. So it seems right after opening, you went up to 111 for some reason. I don't know why, but it traded up to 111. It closed at 99. So do you want to buy this one? I think if your thesis was when you bought this one that, hey, I like Temu. I've got a Temu package coming today I didn't even know about. It's not me. My girlfriend orders this stuff off of Temu. She loves Temu. She shops constantly on Temu. Are they making money off her? No, they're not making money. That's the problem with PDD, is I think you're in for a long time where they are comfortable losing money. Wall Street loves this one. $187 price target. The quant doesn't like it, and the reason is the momentum. Momentum is hard to change in the market. So when we go to a weekly chart on this one, you can see it's just got the most recent run up here. But that volatility is huge. You've pulled all the way back to the 200-day. If you bought this in January of 2023, you're now even. You're not making money. You went all the way up to that 150. That 150 is clearly your cap. Okay? It went up and broke it here in 2021. Then it pulled back. And what we see? We saw just constant lower. Now, if you bought down here at 50, kudos to you. But if you're anywhere above this, I just think maybe the 100 is providing you support. It's low enough, but you've got to be okay with a management team that said, we're okay losing money. That's where PDD is. And you've got to be okay with owning a Chinese stock. That's a lot for me. I think there's better places in the market. That's my thought on it. But Charlie, I mean, you've got your own kind of thesis. Don't follow a douche on the internet. I just think there's better places in this market than that. I mean, even Baba. We can talk about Baba. Baba pulled off this $68 level, and I think it's up near $100. It's up at 81. I think it went up to like $90, and now it's starting to pull back a little bit. You can see it bounced off this $70, and it got a golden cross. The 50 days moving higher. Now, it pulled back yesterday. You got all kinds of gaps on this thing in the 4-hour. I don't like this stock. I have owned this stock before. You look at a weekly, it's still moving negative. Are we changing? I'd rather wait for it to actually make something of a solid move. But it does get interesting, and it is an interesting play. I just don't, again, believe between the political issues and kind of China's economy being weak, it's a little bit what. Now, Dutch investors, they got a Substack. I will link to them, but they are Netherlands, 4 guys in the Netherlands, I think. I read their newsletter yesterday. I liked it. And I said, hey, you guys should follow me. And they followed me. So I said I'd give them a shout out. ASML. They got ASML coming up as their analyst. Now, this is great. This is a semiconductor company. And ASML. Let's go. We'll go and look at the summary over here. So I think they manufacture equipment. Develops, produces, markets, sells, and services advanced semiconductor equipment for chip makers. It offers advanced semiconductor equipment systems, including lithography, blah, blah, blah. So anybody building equipment, Taiwan Semi, who's killing it, Intel, who's not killing it, they buy their equipment from these guys. So let's look at the valuation a little because it's D, okay? The PEG, it's a little bit expensive, 1.85. Sector's at 1.91. It's ranked number 8 out of 29 here. We can take a look at some of the growth possibilities. The growth, they're growing revenue, they're losing 1.6. But their revenue growth forward, they're expected to make 21% and grow. Part of that is because, the U.S. is expanding and there's places that are, in Southeast Asia that are building fab equipment factories. And they're looking at building that. This is the company that's going to make that equipment. So it's something that you want to take a look at. Wall Street says it's a buy, and they've got an 1181 price target. That's a 34% upgrade. Now, there's 39 analysts that cover this. They've chased this one up, and it's pulled back. Okay? Does that pullback provide an opportunity? Let's take a look at it. 855, okay? The algorithm makes you 48%. You make 59% buying and holding this over 24 months. 29 positions, you only win 38% of the time. So I would argue there's probably, like this one, there's some that get you out here. There's some volatility. There's probably some political issues here. Right now, it looks very, very weak. Okay, the RSI is at 41. Does the pullback give you an opportunity to buy into this? I would say right now that 50-day is going to provide you support. I think it goes back to, what do you think the market is going to be? If NVIDIA is going to come out and kill it, and they're going to say, yes, we need some more time for Blackwell, but we see an increase in the amount of orders, I think you're going to see this one go up in sympathy. Because what happens with NVIDIA, they need to make more equipment in order to produce more semiconductors. So I think this one goes up in sympathy. But do I think it gets back up to 1,000 from here? I mean, if you're a long-term analyst, yes. I think short-term, I think you can clearly see here where it got to 875. Look at where it's sitting right now. Okay, that looks like support to me right there at the previous all-time highs. Your MACD, kind of down near the oscillator. Do you want to time this one? I don't think you want to time it. I think you want to wait for an attractive purchase price. And they already had their earnings and they pulled back. I think they'll be fine. I think long-term, I think you're fine buying into this one. I just think that you've got to keep an eye on this revisions because 8 up, 21 down, 20 up on revenue, 10 down, that's going to be an issue. Fiscal period ending. Take a look at that one. I'd much rather own NVIDIA in this space, or kind of maybe SOXL or one of those ETFs. ASML, it doesn't get me fired up with kind of the, profitability is fantastic. Look at that profit margin, 51%. You look at their levered free cash flow, which is, let me go down here. Levered free cash flow, 0.29%. It's an expensive business. So I like these guys, though. I'll be looking forward to reading their analysis of it. So let's talk about scans. We had Costco. We have Apple, ironically. Apple looks like it's another buy. It's getting a leg up. I mean, maybe it knows something about that event. Now, you see this buy here at 216. Great buy. Great buy. I mean, it got you in and you're at 225. You're putting in that. We can take a look at a weekly on Apple. Is it setting up? It's just kind of trading sideways. You want to wait until you're under the 50-day. The 50-day right now is at 193. It hasn't even broken 200. Your MACD, super high. Do you want to buy here? It's expensive. UNH. We can go to UNH. They just had another buy. 590. I was begging to buy this under 500. I got rid of this at 550, 560. I didn't think it had this in the run. It's still going. 579 was the original buy. We have another one. Look at the MACD. It's down there. UNH, best of breed in healthcare. Exxon, energy is going to go nuts. We got Middle East stuff going on. I think you got that 119 providing resistance. Do you want to buy into this one? I don't know. Just seems a bit stretched. Again, in this market, I'm just having patience. One that got a cross up, 3M. I was saying, hey, 3M looks like a great buy. That 131 looked like it was resistance. That was a previous all-time high. We can go and take a look at that. I think it's on the weekly. You can see right there that 131. I thought that was going to provide some resistance. It's 132 today. I think you can buy it once it gets through there. The 200 days at 138. If we look at 3M, the valuation's not nuts. Remember, they have a new management team. The growth is the issue, but that's going to change. I think that's going to change. Their profitability, A+, their growth, they just grew 12% revenue cash flow. The issue is the levered free cash flow. And that's it. Levered free cash flow, 139% year over year. It's changing. This is one that's coming about. It's an industrial. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, here at 132, am I buying? I'm thinking about it. We got a ton of levered ETFs. We got Charter. We got tons. Max J income ETFs. It's all in the newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is 100% free during the week. Only during the weekends I charge. So if you want a little bit extra push or you want to say thank you for everything you do on the podcast, you can sign up for the weekend newsletter. Anything else, remember, and I'll just bookend this podcast. Trendspider sale is going on for 2 days. This is the best sale of the year. By far. The enhanced is less than standard. This is less than it was. If you remember the advanced they had on sale for $90 a month, it's $78 a month. What does advanced come with? Unlimited one-on-one training. I would urge you to either try that or try it monthly. Pay new $295. Get unlimited one-on-one training at $295 for the first month. $295 for the first month. Unlimited one-on-one training. Again, if you're new, that's the best deal. If you want enhanced, it's $167 a month. If you want standard, it's $107 a month. But when you maximize your savings and you pay for the year, it's less than like a couple of months. It's less than a couple of months. So again, try it out. This is Trendspider. I will bookend this. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.